My husband's sleep talking stopped last week, but the voice in our bedroom didn't. The first night it happened, I thought it was a dream. The voice came softly at first, a low murmur, just loud enough to make me stir. I turned toward my husband, half asleep, expecting to see him tangled in the sheets, mumbling nonsense like he always did. But his chest wasn't moving, he wasn't breathing. Then all at once he gasped, a deep, ragged inhale, and the sound stopped. I sat up, heart pounding. The clock on the bedside table glowed 3:17 a.m. in sickly blue digits. "James?" I whispered. He didn't respond. His face was turned away, peaceful, too still. "James?" Nothing. I reached out, shaking his shoulder lightly, and that's when I realized the sound wasn't coming from him at all. It was coming from the corner of the room, a whisper, faint, female. "Why'd you stop talking?" I froze. For a moment I couldn't breathe. I turned on the lamp, flooding the room with warm light, empty walls, closed window, the faint hum of the air conditioner. But the voice was gone. James rolled over, eyes fluttering open. "What's wrong?" he mumbled. "You were—" I started, then stopped. He looked too tired, too unaware. "Nothing. Go back to sleep." He nodded, already halfway gone again. But I didn't sleep. I sat there until dawn, staring at the dark corner by the wardrobe, waiting for it to whisper again. James has always been a sleep talker. It was one of those things I used to find endearing, the way he'd mumble full sentences, sometimes even laugh in his sleep. It started a few years into our marriage after his mother passed away. Doctor said it was harmless, stress-related, but a few weeks ago, it stopped, completely. The silence should have been a relief, but it wasn't. It felt unnatural, like the calm before a storm. The night after the whisper, I told him what I'd heard. He laughed at first. "You've been watching too many of those late-night horror podcasts." "James, I'm serious," he set his coffee cup down, smiling gently. "Honey, I haven't said a word in my sleep for weeks. You probably just dreamed it." I wanted to believe him. I did. But later that night, as I lay in bed pretending to read, I noticed something strange. He wasn't asleep yet, but his lips were moving. No sound. Just silent, deliberate movement. Like he was having a conversation in his head and couldn't stop himself from mouthing the words. I leaned closer, trying to catch what he was saying. Then, clear as day, a whisper came from the corner again. "Answer her." I bolted upright. James blinked, confused. "What's wrong?" I pointed toward the wardrobe. "Did you hear that?" "Hear what?" "The voice." He frowned. "Emma, there's no voice." I stared at him, searching for any sign of a joke, but his eyes were blank, honest. "You didn't hear anything?" "Just you," he said softly. "You're scaring me." That last line hurt. I didn't mean to sound crazy, but I could feel the cold creeping in from that corner, like the air itself was heavier there. I didn't sleep that night either. By the fourth night, the voice had changed. It wasn't soft anymore. It was closer. "He doesn't talk to me now," it said. I pulled the blanket up to my chin, heart thudding so loud I thought James would wake. But he didn't. He lay perfectly still, breathing deep and slow like a man in a trance. I whispered back before I could stop myself. "Who are you?" Silence. Then, faintly, laughter, a woman's laugh, low and broken. "Not me," the voice whispered. "You." I reached for the lamp, but my hand froze halfway. The power went out. The room plunged into darkness, and from the corner came the sound of bare feet dragging slowly across the floor. I couldn't move, couldn't scream. I stared into the dark, eyes watering, waiting for it to touch me. Instead, I felt James sit up beside me. "Emma," he said, voice rough, quiet. I turned to him, desperate. "You heard it." He wasn't looking at me. He was looking at the corner. "Stop whispering to her," he said. I went cold. "What?" His eyes shifted toward me slowly, unfocused. "You'll make her angry again." I reached for him. "James, what are you talking about?" He blinked, confusion flashing across his face. What time is it?" He didn't remember saying it. I could tell. I forced a shaky smile. "Go back to sleep." He nodded and lay back down. But I didn't move for hours. I just sat there, watching the dark corner where something unseen breathed softly, waiting for me to answer. The next morning, there were footprints on the floor. Wet, bare, too small to be James's. They start full story on my channel, link below.